Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
As much as we say that, Rob, you think there would be like a canned, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just do it every week without us having to say it.
You think you don't want to do the opening anymore with me? Is that it?
I think we're big enough now that we could, we have.
Boy, those reruns have really gone to your head, huh?
It kind of did.
Yeah. Now,
nice.
we're working the reruns. Yeah. You're like Seinfeld now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are going to talk about Bona DriFast Stain. Rob, I have something that has haunted me for, I'd say, going on 25 years, maybe. I mixed up a stain color one time that was so beautiful, it was beyond words. And I have thought about that floor and that stain color, I'm telling you 1,000 times, and I could not tell you what color it is.
Oh.
I've told you that we used to do these apartment buildings for these three attorneys, and this was he was going to live in this one. It was on the top floor. It was a really nice place. And he goes, Wayne, I don't care. Just sometimes something in the color range that you guys do, don't just do what you do. I said, all right. So there was an opportunity for us. What are you going to do at that point? Let me get rid of what's in here. I got this one that's half it. Let's get rid of some of that. Pour a bunch of stuff together. And we started staining that floor. And it was the most gorgeous floor I've ever seen in my life. And me and my brother stood back and looked at it and kept going, man, this is beautiful, man. And I could not tell you, I couldn't do it again to save my life to get that color.
Oh, my.
And it's haunted me. I mean,
That's
even to this day, it's bugged me that I don't know what that color is. So, all right.
I'm a fan of bark. I like Bona bark. Okay. And everybody who's been to my schools and everything knows that I'm a bark guy. That's, even the guys working with me, they know. Yep. Rob's doing a stain demo. It's going to be bark. And I was doing a school in Jersey, maybe a year and a half ago. And our buddy Jeff Ofredo, he said, hey, I know you like using bark, but I've got a ton of this stain that, we got to kind of use, you got to get rid of, And I said, what is it? It's got kind of like a blank can, And he's like, oh, it's a stain that Howard Breckman and myself, we worked on it and came up with this color for Museum of Modern Art, some huge, the towers, Museum Modern Art Tower. I mean, it was a massive job. What a beautiful color that was. I had to give it to him.
Wow.
I had to give him his props. I'm like, man, I hope you know what the ratio. He goes, oh yeah, we definitely know, because he's got a couple of cases of it, but it's kind of like the bark with a little bit of red. And that's turned into my go-to color. I call it the Alfredo. Yeah, I got to give it up to Jeff, man. That was a absolutely beautiful color. Beautiful.
Wow.
So, man, it's amazing what you can do with the Bona DriFast Stain, where you're just not locked into one specific type of a color.
Well, here's the thing, and here's why I think we probably a good time to talk about this. If you slipped on the Bona stains and you thought, no, I'm using something, whatever, I already know these, what they look like and everything, and haven't dived into these. First of all, the cost of the stain per square foot and the ease of use. I'm telling you, I think it's going to surprise some people. And especially if you haven't looked at them in a while or whatever, you thought, no, I'm using such and such. I'd invite you to look at the cost of what, and the dry time and the ease of use, especially if you buff on stains. I don't think there's anything on planet Earth that buffs on easier. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this. I was out on some jobs last couple of weeks, and I was out with one of my brothers, and they actually said passed on their regards, Rob.
Oh, thank you. Tell them I said hello.
Yep. But it kind of, brought it kind of, you get away from the field a little bit. You think you're invested and whatever, but then do you go back to a job site, yeah, it comes back a little quicker. But even the smell of it and everything, just really, I'll tell you, if you've slept on the stains and you thought, we haven't tried them, we're happy with what we got, I would say, look at the whole picture. Look at the cost per square foot. Look at other things like bleed back. Look at things like dry time. Look at things like ease of use and the color selection and the blended charts. And I think it was surprising people.
That's funny. Yesterday, you talk about ease of use. Yesterday, I had a crew in, 2 crews at the training facility in Jersey. Beaton Brothers, the guys from Beaton Brothers, they're 4th generation. Dave was there with his guy, and they had never really used too much Bona stain. You know, they kind of used somebody else's stain, and they had never buffed on stain either. You know, they were really worried about how, you know, what a mess it was going to be. And, you know, I remember thinking the same thing when you can't buff stain on that. What a disaster that would be. Well, when we do it our way, the carpet pad, pour it in the center. You know, don't cut the edges first, cut them after you've buffed as close as you can and everything. And I let those 2 guys do it. And I'll never forget, he gets done. He looks at me and he goes, "You're kidding me." I said, "No, he goes, "That's it, huh?" I go, "Well, now he's just going to take a clean carpet pad and just, buff everything out." He goes, "You want to walk?" I go, "Yeah, walk right on it. Just buff your prints out, out the door you go." And when they got done, it was so funny because the 2 guys just kept looking at each other. I love when you say something and then the 2 guys looked right at each other but when he looked at me and he goes, "You're kidding me. This is it." I go, "Yeah, yeah." Add a little bit at a time. I think some of the mistakes sometimes people make when they're using a carpet pad is they oversaturate the pad. They put too much stain on it, then it starts to get a little sloppy. But if you make a couple of passes, stop, add a little bit, and make a few passes, get into a good groove, a good consistency of when you're going to add that stain so you don't kind of run dry and you just keep that thing flowing. But when he looked at me and he said, "You're kidding me. That's it." I go, "Yeah, that's it, man." There's not too much. And I think what I want people to understand too about Bona, and I know it sounds like, oh yeah, they're Bona guys, so they're going to talk about Bona, but there's some stains out there that are sold in the big box stores and everything that are, they're made for other things. They're made for furniture. They're made for, whatever. A lot of things that Bona has is made specifically for for floors, you know? And I don't think sometimes guys get like our sandpaper. Our sandpaper isn't, oh, you're going to find it in the automotive industry or the painting industry or everything. No, our sandpaper is specifically made at a lab just for floor guys, just for sanding floors. Everything we do, like our stain, I don't know. Of course, it'll probably work on furniture and everything, but it's made for floors. And we know that, a floor guy needs something that's easy to work with and he's going to be successful with. So all of our testing and everything is done specifically with hardwood floor or wood floors.
But I don't know why I just thought of this. Do you remember Delbert Adams with Sheffield Hardwood up in Canada?
I am going to see him in 3 weeks. Yes.
I am too. Yes. So
are you going to that school?
Yeah, he's going to be coming to another thing in Colorado. So okay. I'll be seeing him. So I don't know why he just popped in my mind, but it'd be cool to see him. When you talked about being at the school and what have you, he was just came to my mind. Anyhow, good guy. That's there's a guy who this is a second career for him, and really came to one of the schools and just had a fantastic time. And you talk about someone who's done a great job. I'm really happy for him and his bride. They did a great job. So don't know what came in my mind, but
no, he was. It's funny because he's one of those guys that he came to a school and him and I have been in touch ever since that day. It's amazing how many friends I've made.
Yeah,
through the years doing trainings, and
good people.
Dell was definitely one of them.
And all he wanted to do was the best. Right? He just wanted to do the best. He never want to take no shortcuts. He wanted to learn the best. He would do whatever it took to do the job the right way and be the best. So hats off to him. I don't know why it crossed my mind, but anyhow,
I guess I put you to sleep with that story. Is that it? You were flying away.
No,
Your mind was
you think if I can remember what you were talking about. Hang on a minute.
come on, baby.
You were buffing on Stain. You were buffing on Stain.
The other crew saw it. Couldn't believe how easy it was.
Yes. And
There
then,
you
yes,
go. That's
yes,
it.
yes.
There.
And you went fishing together. Yeah. Yeah.
You see, folks, that's what happens when you get national in your title. Once you get that national in your title, you're into a whole different level of thought process. There's lots of things going on. Too many things.
no, I was in the gym, I think about 3 or 4 days ago. And there's this guy I just don't like in the gym. You know what I mean? The guy rubs me the wrong way all the time and talks to me at inappropriate times about stuff I don't care about when I'm trying to get in and get out, do my thing. And he said the other day, he goes, "Guy, you really worked up a lather. I mean, you're sweating. You know, I'm on the machine. I'm drenched." I said, and I know this guy is younger than me because I heard him telling somebody else because they went to school together. So I said, "Hey, listen, when I get, if I can hang as good as you are at your age, man, I'm going to be happy as hell." And he goes, "How old are you?" I said, 61. And he didn't say anything, but I know he's 56. So it's a little things, Rob.
There you go. Maybe that'll keep him away. Yeah,
There you, yes,
that's
yes.
it. You want to step off the porch? This is what
Mhm.
you're gonna get.
Absolutely.
That's a
So,
beautiful
Rob,
one.
why gray stains? I heard the other day some guys talking about, oh, be careful with gray stains. I mean, they're problematic, and white stains. Guys are still worried about that. Dark stains, all these things still in in vogue right now. So, do you have any recommendations on those?
Water popping. I think water popping is the absolute key to everything. You know, if you have a maple floor, let's start with maple. You can't stain a maple floor. If you look at the MFMA guidebook, okay, Maple Flooring Manufacturers Association, they're the governing body of basketball courts, maple floors. And they set the lines and the game lines and sizes, 3-point, everything. They have a whole page on do not stain maple floors. Don't do it. They can't be stained. We show people how to stain that maple at every class. And I think there is not a prettier looking floor than a stained maple floor. It almost looks like marble. You know, this class that we did yesterday, I took our natural stain and our oil base Court Lines paint, did a 1-to-1 ratio of blue. Buffed it on. Simple, right? We water popped it, the maple, buffed it on, coated it. It looks like a piece of marble. It is just the prettiest color you've ever seen on maple. I mean, it's spectacular. But with all the grays, the darks, whites, personally, I don't know why you wouldn't water pop everything. You know, water popping, the other thing about water popping, going to remove some of those little edge marks that you might have missed or some swirl marks from the buffer or something. You know, water popping also is going to help that. But to achieve color and consistency, water popping's, absolutely the way to go.
Can I give my all-time best staining tip?
Absolutely. I've been waiting for it.
Where's your bell at? I got my own bell. I need you. Hold it. All right, this is my all-time favorite.
You got the bell.
I've said this before, but in case somebody hasn't heard it, and I know most people won't do this, and I'm totally fine with it, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, I've never seen it done any better, is we used to wipe the stain on like you normally do. And let's say you water pop the floor, you get some grain rays and what have you, right? water pop the floor, and then wipe the stain on like you normally do. But before we wipe the stain off, take a maroon pad and buff that section of wet stain. Now I will take the maroon pad first and I will swirl it around in the wet stain a little bit first, so it doesn't, that initial torque doesn't bite in too much. But then I buff that section of the floor real good. And then we towel it off. Nobody will ever tell me it can be done any better.
All right.
Because
Wait, let me back this up.
Okay.
So you apply it. If I was going to do a carpet pad,
Mhm.
you would apply it with the carpet pad.
No.
Okay.
So that's the difference here. So I got two things about this. One is when we did it, we ragged on the wet stain, okay, and then we hit it with the buffer, and then we ragged off, or you can towel off with the pad. Nowadays, what I might do differently is I might put it on with like a lamb's wool to stain instead of on the hands and knees wiping on. We didn't do that, so there might be a way you could save some time right there. But, and you could say, well, it's more labor. Yeah, and you'd be right. But here's how you get it back. When that first coat goes on, it looks done. You got a water pop floor that is all the beautiful depth of a water pop floor, but it's as smooth as if you sanded the floor with like a 180 grit. Because you burnished it, you push the stain down into the softwood, you burnished it, any little grain raise, you've knocked that down. And Rob, when you're wiping that off or whatever, you walk on next day, you run your hand across it, you put that first coat on it. I've never seen it done any better. This caused myself and my youngest brother one of our biggest fights. Because I will swear to you that this was I brought this to the world. This was my idea.
Oh,
I will say it like I will swear to it. I will bet my house on it. My brother Doug will say exactly the same thing with exactly as much passion as I'm telling you that it was his idea. Now, he is so passionate about it, I don't know if I bet the house now, because he swears up and down this is his idea. And I will tell you the same thing. So I don't know which one of us now came up with this, but I know one thing, I've never seen it done any better.
So you think if I put it down with a carpet pad, it would be too thin?
I think it'd be too thin.
So that little extra stain on there,
yeah,
gives you a little bit of a cushion.
Yes. Now, two things. One, I went with a guy on a job one time. It was an ebony floor he water popped. And we did this upstairs in the rooms upstairs. We did the master bedroom and we did it come down the hallway, my way, this way, with another contractor. And we got to the downstairs. He goes, man, you know what, Wayne? He goes, I appreciate it. I know, I'm sure that's better and everything, but I'm going to do my whole way downstairs. He goes, just in the interest of time and everything. And I said, no, that's cool. Yeah, no problem with that. He called me a few days later. He goes, holy smokes, the floor upstairs is night and day, smoother. The first coat looks so much nicer. He goes, I know it's longer, but we'll do it that way from now on.
And that was doing it Doug's way.
My way. How dare
Doug's
you?
method?
Yeah, my method.
You're the
my brother Doug is
Lieutenant Colonel.
Here's how things work with the Highlander floors. If me, my brother John, and my brother Doug are on a job, and we're working together, and everybody's in a good mood. We're making progress. We're doing our final vacuum. We tack the floor. We mix up the stain. We get in the stain rags. We get in the buffer, and now it's time to stain the floor, and everybody's happy. And then we start to stain the floor, and my brother's left-handed. So you know which way he wants to start when he's wiping on the stain. He'd be on the left side of the room. I got to start on the right side of the room. So it's backwards if I do it his way, and it's backwards him if he does it my way. So I would automatically go, if I'm putting the stain on, I would just automatically go to the right side of the room, start staining the floor. And he ain't happy about it. Like real quick, he's not happy about it. You know what I mean? And if he starts staining the way first, I'm not. And his cause arguments like I can't begin to tell you.
There's nothing like brother fights on a hardwood floor job. Nothing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my brother and I never tangled with my youngest brother, Matty. He's 10 years younger, but Chris was 5 years younger. And when they all started on the crew, not only was I the older brother, but I was the boss. By the time they got there, I was running the crews. And oh, some of the best fights I ever got into was with Chris.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
You know, looking back though, everybody, and we had our fair share of, of disagreements. I'll put it kindly. Um, but it was always out of the passion for doing the job right. You know what I mean? It was never a shortcut. It was never anything like that. It was always, or we never argued about who was working more than the other. Never. We never had that argument that, oh, I had to do this and you edge and I did the stairs and you did that. Never, 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 never did we have that fight. Any fight we had was about which is the best way to do the job the best. You know what I mean? So I didn't appreciate that at the time, but I sure as hell appreciate that now.
I
So,
was a jerk. I'll admit it. I was a jerk. The fights that I had, all the fights I had with my brother were because of me.
yeah,
Always wanting him to be better than everybody, expecting him to do more than
yeah,
everybody on the crew. And I had that mindset is like, look, you're a Johnson. You have to do more than the other guys, or it's going to be misery. I had to, you had to, we can't seem like daddy's little boys out here.
yeah,
And, we have to outwork everybody.
yeah.
And I was really hard on him on that. And sometimes, sometimes I think I took it too far.
Well, now that you say that, well, there was that too. I mean, yeah, there was that. Absolutely. I mean, if you're a perfectionist, not even you can live up to your standards sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So asking other people to live up to those same standards, and now I say it all the time, they're both better than I am. They're both very good, very sensational floor guys. So in the end, hell, who knows?
But that was your stain method.
That was it. Yeah. I mean, well, that's yes. And I swear to you, I've never seen a floor look any better at stain.
I'm going to try it next week. I'm going down a little early to try them. I do some new things at the RTC before the class comes in. So I'm going to try that in an area, see what it looks like.
Do you remember Frank Krupa? I think his name is with the NWFA, and he was with
From Michigan.
Yes.
Yep.
We were in an NWFA class, and I was shy at the time. I wasn't an instructor, and I was just another guy on the panel or whatever. And I like, hey, I got this thing I do, and I don't know if he's going to like it or not. I don't know if he's going to accept it, or maybe you go, that's not an NWFA guideline or whatever. But and he kind of didn't catch it the first time. Then I pulled him aside later on. I go, hey man, I got this thing I do with a broom pad when I'm staying on the floor. He goes, hey, I want to see it. No kidding.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And when I did it, he goes, I like that. And he goes, that's a good
wow.
tip. And that's coming from someone I respect beyond words. So yeah. Yep.
When we were at Basic Coatings and we built our training center there and we had our initial school, I asked Frank to come in and be the lead for that. Like he came in representing the NWFA. And so, yeah, Frank was a great guy. Good stories, great floor, man.
Phenomenal floor. Let me tell you about, I'll give you one Frank story. We was at it's either intermediate class or an expert class. It must have been an intermediate class. And it was installation, and we were, installing floors, whatever. And then we routed out for the medallion, and he was late getting there. He missed day one, and he's there on day two. And I think the class was in St. Louis. And we get there, and now it's time to put the medallion in. So I routed out, dropped the medallion. And I said to him, hey, do you want me not to glue this down? I just tack it down and everything, so that way we don't burn the medallion. You can use it later. He goes, hey, I didn't get on a plane and fly all the way down here to do something half-assed. I went, no kidding. I like this guy, man. So, I mean, he was that's all I need to know.
You are going to love this Krupa story. So because it was a new school, we had put the floors in. That was part of the front part of the school. 2 days install, 2 days sanding. So we're doing different rooms. And at one point we had to, you know, router out a groove in a board, do the slip tongue, and that the deal. And Frank starts, he gets everybody around and he's holding the slip tongue and he starts talking. And then you could see that he was starting to get pissed.
Mhm.
And he's getting mad because some guys don't take the time to router in and properly put in a slip tongue and join the two boards. He goes, some guys will just throw that board down. And he actually just slams the board down, furious, right? That people will just put some glue there or epoxy and think that that's good enough. Well, at one point, he's screaming at the class like they had all done it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And it's just, Frank, right? He's just very passionate. But I'll tell you what, I can guarantee you there was not one person who was at that school who would never, not ever use a slip tongue for the rest of their life after. Because I actually, when he got done, I go, "You okay?" And I kind of walked over,
Yeah.
like, "Everything all right?" He goes, "These damn people. Sometimes they just think that okay, okay,
It wasn't us, Frank.
easy. We didn't do it,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
But that guy he had pure passion, man, pure passion for it.
Nice. All right. So I think that really all I want to talk about with the stain is I think if you look at the price, look at the coverage per square foot that you're getting out of that. Look how far it goes, and look at the ease of use. If you haven't got engaged with it, try it on a job. See what you think about it. Like I said, you could always do anything at one of our training centers across the country. We got a bunch of them.
Another thing too, like I was talking about with that maple, and I really try to show this at our schools where there's just so much about color now. There's just so many things out there about color. Our complete line of oil-based court lines, game line paint, okay, that we use in sport is all intermixable with our stain. So not only can you blend the stains, but you can also blend the paint with the natural stain. We just can take it out a whole new door compared to anybody else out there. But the thing is it's all compatible. It's all made specifically for flooring. You're
Yeah.
not going to find it in furniture and this and that, or the big box stores and everything like that. So I think that's something that, and it's great too, because are you going to do a blue floor every day? No, of course not. But boy, when you're out there doing that estimate and you can start offering things that nobody else is offering, this goes back to our estimating show that we did, right? When you can start offering things like that, people don't ask why you're the higher price guy.
Yeah.
Bum and I, a few years back, Bum was going to do a home show. Bum was in the home show, him and his company. And he goes, "Hey, you want to work?" I go, "Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love doing home shows, So he goes, "What do you think we should do? What can we do? Because we only 8x10 booth. We can't really do demos. We can't sand a floor or anything." But he came up with, he cut out squares about this big, right? Little 3x3 or 4x4 squares.
Yeah.
Oak, white oak, red oak, ash. And he had every stain and paint that we had, and people were coming over and making their own stain colors. Just hanging out, having fun. We're writing down on the back what it was, what their ratios were, and everything. And like halfway through the second day of the show, Pauline comes back. She goes, "You wouldn't believe how many people I see walking around with their little squares, showing everybody what they're doing. Their custom. I invented this color." People were excited. People were excited about making their own color. That's my color. Nobody else has that.
That's a great idea.
That one worked good.
Yeah.
That one worked really good.
Last thing I'll say on this is one is there anything worse than not being able to match your own stain color? That's pretty embarrassing. So when I told you I couldn't remember what that stain was that I mixed up for that guy. Um, it's a great idea to make the notes, put the notes somewhere and exactly what you did. And by the way, my notes are different than sometimes what I put on the contract for the owner. You know what I mean? Because they
No,
might, I've got this, like the homeowner might say, I want antique. And I look at him and I go, he doesn't really want antique. He want he wants antique with a splash of spice or a splash of red. You know what I mean? I just intuitively I know. So my notes are more important to me than what I may say to somebody else. Um, so I keep my notes on what the job is. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jason Carter with Carter Quality Floors. Carter Quality Flooring up in Michigan. Is his birthday at the time we're taping this, and class guy. Think the world of him. That's another great craftsman. Does
I
really
just
nice
had
work.
two of his guys from Carter Quality in December.
I'll
We
be
did
darned.
school up in Michigan. He sent two of his boys over. Great
Hmm.
guys,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
mechanics.
yeah. Starts at the top, man. So okay, all right, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you again your listenership very much. I mean, we say that every time because we mean it, and appreciate you listening to the show. Hey, listen, we're going to be down the NWFA. It's coming up. I believe it's April 7th, 14th, the 12th to the 14th. Wouldn't be terrible if anybody listened to me and that was say like a week later. Do your look up, see what the dates are. I think it's the 12th to the 14th. But anyhow, I would love to see. We had a great time last year down there. It's going to be in Tampa this year. We don't get anything out of you guys coming down. We're not in cahoots with the NWFA or anything, but I support it. No, Rob does. We'd love to see the guys down there when you come down to the show. I think it's going to be a great show. Guys are getting out more this year, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And so if you do come by, we'd love to have you come by the booth and say hey, and I'd like to shake your hand. So other than that, that's another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.